Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty fascinating. It's not just a fan tribute. We're really examining how fans are using some pretty cutting-edge AI to completely rethink legacy, especially for a giant musical icon.
That's right. Yeah, our source material today focuses on this huge announcement, really. It's a massive fan project, the Michael Jackson Blue Gangsta Tour. So we're digging into what the creators, MJTM, Michael Jackson, the music, are actually saying this thing is.
Okay, so what's the mission here for us? We need to get past the initial announcement buzz and really look at what they're building.
Yeah.
How are fans using Meta AI for this? It's a build as not just a concert, but a whole cinematic experience.
Exactly. And it seems like, the way to think about it is that MJTM, they're acting less like a regular fan group and more like a production house. They're really trying to push the boundaries of what a digital tribute can even be.
And this Blue Gangsta tour, it's the centerpiece. Not just some videos strung together, but yeah, a cinematic immersion. That's the term they're using.
3 hours long, too.
Wow, okay. 3 hours. That's substantial for a virtual thing. It suggests they're not aiming for, like, a quick nostalgia hit. They want real investment from people. But what makes it specifically cinematic? Is it just, good graphics?
Well, that's part of it, surely. But it seems to be more about the structure. The narrative pacing. The sources say they're really committed to storytelling. So unlike just watching old concert footage, every single song, it's planned to start with its own storytelling scene first.
Wait, every song, like a little movie opening before each track?
Kind of, yeah. Incorporating drama, emotion, maybe some mystery. The idea is to build the world, the energy before the performance kicks in. Almost like watching a film that breaks into song.
That sounds incredibly ambitious. But doesn't setting up every song like that, doesn't that risk feeling a bit repetitive or, slowing things down too much over 3 hours?
That's a fair point. It's a definite structural risk.
Yeah.
But I think they're banking on how immersive these scenes are. They're meant to build this deep, maybe even suspenseful atmosphere first. So it becomes less like a concert, more like a concept album brought to life, maybe, where the story is the connection.
Okay, so you've got this story, this mood. How do they then switch gears to that explosive MJ energy everyone expects? It can't just be a fade out, fade in, right?
No, apparently it's very deliberate. They describe this specific transition. So while the dramatic scene is maybe winding down, you start to hear the instrumental of the song creep in, just a tease.
Yeah.
Builds that anticipation.
Okay.
And then the sources literally use the word boom. It's a sudden, sharp cut. Instantly, you're hit with the full performance. Lights, staging, effects, everything. Just pure Michael Jackson energy is how they put it.
Okay. That's clever. So the sudden shift, that boom, is designed to keep you hooked, right? Prevents that fatigue we talked about, resets you from story mode to like spectacle mode. It's sort of like stagecraft, but applied digitally.
Exactly. And it shows they understand that a digital performance needs to offer something different than just watching an old recording. Maybe something impossible to do live back then. And the Meta AI tools probably help here, letting them create these really dynamic, shifting environments for those sudden transitions.
Yeah.
It's not limited by a physical stage.
Makes sense. Okay, let's pivot to the music itself then. The core of it, they say, is MJ's most hype tracks, the ones that make you move. So, sounds like a pretty high-energy set list overall.
Yeah, you'd need that for 3 hours, right? Got to keep the energy up. But it's not just the hits, apparently. The choice of tracks seems pretty strategic, too.
And here's the part that really caught my eye. The promise of rare songs. They're specifically mentioning tracks from the Bad and Dangerous eras that he never actually performed live.
Yes, that's the real hook for the hardcore fans, isn't it? Picking those unperformed songs. MJTM is basically filling in a gap in history. These aren't just obscure B-sides. They're songs from his absolute peak that never got the live treatment. It's like offering a missing piece.
Conceptually completing those eras in a way.
Exactly.
And that connects directly to this other big idea, the sort of conceptual frame for the whole tour. They're presenting it as if Michael Jackson is performing right now, or, in 2026, for a totally new audience.
Yeah, the 2026 framing it's probably the smartest move they've made conceptually, because it lets them avoid the trap of trying to perfectly recreate something historical, which is, let's face it, impossible. Instead, they're framing it as an evolution.
Why is that so important, do you think?
Well, it frees them, doesn't it? They aren't locked into recreating, say, 1988 stage tech or costumes. Setting it in 2026 lets them use modern aesthetics, modern visuals, and crucially, leverage the current tech like Meta AI to make a show that feels relevant now, especially for people who never saw him live. It keeps the legacy moving, not stuck in the past.
Yeah, keeping it dynamic. But that dynamism really hinges on the technology, doesn't it? So let's talk about the meta AI again. We know it's driving the visuals, the environments. But the big hurdle is always the movement, the actual virtual performer. And MJTM, the creators, were surprisingly upfront about this.
They really were. They basically came right out and said, look, the AI dancing isn't fully there yet. And that's critical because replicating Michael Jackson's movement, that's an incredibly high bar. It's not just steps. It's the fluidity, the sharpness, the way he moved, that lean.
Right, that sort of specific, uncanny physics.
Yeah.
It's exactly the kind of thing that current AI struggles with. AI can generate smooth motion, sure, but copying one specific person's unique style, including all the little tells and nuances, that's where it often looks, well, wrong.
Totally. The uncanny valley problem, especially for someone like him whose whole performance style was about pushing physical limits. Any tiny error just shatters the illusion.
Yeah.
So the big question is, if you can't perfectly replicate the moves right now, how do you still deliver that unstoppable MJ energy they're promising?
So what are they doing? If they admit the AI isn't perfect for the dancing, what's the strategy? How do they keep that core feeling alive?
Well, the way they explain it, they're shifting the goalposts a bit. Instead of aiming for perfect technical replication move for move, they're focusing on crafting a unique performance style, something designed to capture the illusion, the magic, and that feeling he gave people. And it sounds like they're leaning more on the overall visual composition, the staging, the energy of the scene, rather than trying to make the AI do an exact physical copy.
That raises a really interesting point then. How do we even measure success for these kinds of AI tribute projects if literal perfection is off the table?
Yeah, success becomes less about, a frame-by-frame comparison and more about subjective emotional impact. Does it feel right? Does it capture the spirit? For the fans, success is probably hitting that emotional resonance. They seem to be using the AI for the stunning backdrops, the spectacle, the context, and then blending that with movement that evokes the essence rather than chasing impossible precision.
So it's about respect then, using the tech respectfully to keep the legacy alive without pretending it's an exact duplicate, avoiding that creepy, uncanny territory by managing expectations.
Exactly. They seem very focused on maintaining the legacy with respect. And honestly, it's kind of a powerful statement about fan dedication, isn't it? Using these advanced tools to keep the art alive and dynamic for new generations.
It really is. It shows how much power and agency organized fan communities have now, especially when they get access to these kinds of tools.
A remarkable example, yeah. It suggests the future of preserving these huge artistic legacies might not just be down to official estates anymore. You could see more of these highly organized, tech-savvy fan groups stepping up.
So wrapping this all up, the Blue Gangsta tour looks like it's aiming for this 3-hour immersive experience. Deep story intros for each song, these high-impact boom transitions, bringing unperformed tracks to life. And using meta AI strategically, focusing on the feeling and illusion rather than perfect replication. The main message seems to be, like they said, the legacy doesn't end, it evolves.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening who wants to check this out, the key details, it's planned to start in April 2026. And you won't find it on like YouTube or Netflix. It's exclusive to the MJTM Michael Jackson the Music channel. So yeah, one to watch out for.
Definitely. It's incredible, really, seeing what happens when that kind of passion meets powerful, accessible AI. This scale of production, fan-driven, conceptually deep, using cutting-edge tech, it really forces you to think.
It really does. And it leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it? What does this kind of organized, AI-fueled fan creativity unlock for other artists? Think about performers whose careers ended too soon, or artists from way back who never got to use modern digital stages. Are we going to see fans basically creating the definitive digital legacies for artists who missed out? That's something to chew on as we look towards 2026.